Hello friends, this is Roxanne, and today, I'm going to recap the third part of the anime called Demon Slayer Season 2. Spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. After Tanjiro successfully beheads Enmu, the demon's flesh falls off the cars but the lower rank screams cause the Mugen train to derail at high speed. A sudden impact causes Tanjiro, Inosuke and the unconscious conductor to be flung into the air, with Tanjiro desperately attempting to save him. The train flies off the tracks and skids down the ground, as Tanjiro himself rolls helplessly through the dirt. Inosuke safely lands on Enmu's soft flesh and runs to his comrade, asking for his well-being. Though he answers back, Tanjiro realizes the wound to his stomach and from rolling across the ground will stop him from moving. Tanjiro asks if the conductor and passengers are safe, to which Inosuke responds the conductor is pinned by his legs under the cars. He refuses to help, still angered at him for stabbing Tanjiro and adding he will likely never walk again. Tanjiro begs him, telling his friend the man has already atoned for his sin, to which Inosuke finally relents and goes to help him free. As he lies down to rest, believing Nezuko, Zenitsu and Rengoku are safe, a small conscious piece of Enmu's flesh crawls out the wreckage, slowly disintegrating. He curses himself for being unable to eat even one of the 200 passengers, then pins the blame on the flame Hashira, having thwarted his plan to devour them while fused with the train. He curses Zenitsu, who fought him while still asleep and becomes bewildered at a demon like Nezuko stopping him as well. He crawls towards the demon slayer who defeated him, while muttering it was Tanjiro in the first place who ruined his plan, as well as Inosuke and his excellent intuition. As his flesh begins to fade, he laments only the lower ranks get killed whilst the upper ranks stay alive for centuries. In his final moments, Enmu begs for another chance while being terrified at the nightmare that is his death. As lower one finally falls, Tanjiro is suddenly met by Rengoku, who commends him for mastering total concentration constant. He tells him constant is the first of many steps to being a Hashira and advises him to increase his control and breathing precision. Rengoku tells him a blood vessel in his abdomen is torn, assisting him in internally stopping the blood. The Hashira tells him he will be stronger than he was yesterday, then adds that none of the passengers are injured. To Tanjiro's relief, out of nowhere, a blast erupts from behind them. As Rengoku and Tanjiro look behind, a figure emerges from the dust cloud. Tanjiro reads the kanji in the figure's eyes and becomes horrified as he is staring at upper rank 3. The demon looks at Tanjiro and suddenly disappears, rushing forward to kill him. Rengoku reads the attack and slashes the demon's arm with flame-breathing second form Rising Scorching Sun. The demon flips back and heals the slash in moments. While complimenting his blade, Rengoku asks why the demon would attack the injured first, to which he responds he was worried Tanjiro would get in the middle of their chat. Rengoku retaliates by stating despite having just met, he already dislikes him. Upper 3 states he is simply disgusted by the weak, then proposes he transform into a demon too, to which Rengoku refuses. He asks for Rengoku's name and then introduces himself as Akaza. He tries to goad him again, telling him as a demon, he could train and become stronger for centuries to come. Tanjiro notices the scent he emits is by far the strongest of musen he's faced thus far. Rengoku tells Akaza that growing old and dying is part of being human, telling him strength is not just about the body. He retorts that Tanjiro isn't weak and refuses again to become a demon. Angered at his refusal, Akaza activates his blood demon art, a glowing aura called Technique Development, Destructive Death Compass Needle. As he prepares to fight, Akaza tells Rengoku his refusal will only lead to his demise. He rushes forward and strikes, while Rengoku parries his numerous blows and returns the attacks. The clash can't be followed by Tanjiro, who is too slow to see the battle. Akaza taunts him by mentioning none of the Hashira he faced were flame Hashiras and that everyone he's killed refused his offer. Confused at why, Rengoku manages to slice his forearm off but Akaza regrows it in moments. Akaza leaps into the air and uses destructive death air type, sending numerous shockwaves at the Hashira. Rengoku blocks the incoming assault with flame-breathing fourth form, Blooming Flame Undulation. Realizing a battle at range will prove tricky, Rengoku rushes towards Akaza to close the gap and narrowly catches his neck. Akaza continues his numerous blows while taunting Rengoku that his skills will be wasted if he die, while he continues to deny his words. Inosuke sees the confrontation while Tanjiro attempts to stand, but Rengoku orders them not to interfere. Rengoku knocks Akaza into a nearby forest and manages to slash his arm again, leading Akaza to violently kick him back in response, sending the Hashira hurtling hard into the dirt. He tries again to goad Rengoku to transform, healing his sliced arm instantly. Rengoku refuses again and leaps into the air, using flame-breathing third form of Blazing Universe to slash down. Akaza dodges the blow and commends him for his spirit, launching another destructive death air-type shockwave and narrowing missing him. Inosuke, watching the battle, realizes the two are on a different dimension and himself joining the clash will only result in his death. Akaza continues to try and get to Rengoku but he refuses once again. The upper rank starts to make contact, first cutting Rengoku's forehead with the side of his fist. Rengoku speeds forward and twists his body into a flame-breathing first form unknowing fire. The attack slices both of Akaza's arms but he heals instantly and continues his assault. He suddenly strikes the Hashira with a punch directly to the side. Rengoku staggers back in pain but continues to fight back, using second form Rising Scorching Sun Slash to catch his arms again. Akaza dodges the slice and punches directly at Rengoku's face. Though his sword blocks his fist, Akaza pushes ahead and his hand slips off, hitting Rengoku's eye and rupturing it. Rengoku presses on and uses flame-breathing third form of Blazing Universe and fourth form of Blooming Flame Undulation in succession, in the hopes he hits Akaza. The demon leaps back to safety and takes another stance. Rengoku then uses flame-breathing fifth form, Flame Tiger, releasing the fiery wave at the upper rank. Akaza responds with Destructive Death Disorder, dissipating the infernal attack and rushes Rengoku with another punch. Rengoku enters the clash and slashes his arm. Once the fire dissipates, Inosuke questions aloud if Rengoku had succeeded. Bleeding from his wounds, the Hashira stands and breathes heavily, whereas Akaza instantly heals his sliced arm and rises up. Tanjiro refuses to believe what he sees. A wounded, exhausted and weary Rengoku. Akaza confronts his opponent and tells him not to die while they fight, as Tanjiro and Inosuke helplessly look on. Rengoku continues to fend off upper 3 Akaza and sustains fatal wounds in the process, while the demon heals the damage instantly. After his flame-breathing fifth form, Flame Tiger, is overwhelmed by the upper rank's destructive death disorder, Akaza backs away and leaves Rengoku to soak up the pain. Tanjiro and Inosuke look on helplessly as the powerful Hashira is brought low by the upper rank. Tanjiro, still too exhausted to move after using Hinokami Kagura and sustaining injuries. Akaza attempts to goad Rengoku again to transform, healing the gash in his chest, whereas Rengoku's fatal wounds will inevitably kill him lest he becomes a demon. Without warning, fire engulfs Rengoku's body, as Akaza looks on confused at his determination. Rengoku raises his sword and takes a stance, stating he will fulfill his duties and won't let anyone die. As he plans to damage Akaza as much as possible in an instant, he uses flame-breathing esoteric art and strengthens himself for battle once more. Akaza becomes excited and declares he must become a demon, amazed at his continual spirit and determination despite his irreparable wounds. Telling himself to set your heart ablaze and go beyond your limits. Rengoku declares he is the Flame Hashira and uses ninth form Rengoku. Akaza responds with Destructive Death Annihilation type. Rengoku rushes forward in a giant fiery dragon and meets Akaza's numerous shockwaves. In the ensuing chaos, Rengoku slashes Akaza's arm in half and his chest twice. However, when the fire fades, Tanjiro looks on in horror as Akaza has managed to punch through Rengoku's solar plexus. As his own slashes heal quickly, the demon urges the Hashira to transform, as this final wound will kill him. Rengoku suddenly remembers his mother Ruka and sees a memory of her during his childhood. Shortly before her death, she had one last conversation with him about why he is stronger than others. When he responds he doesn't know the reason, Ruka tells him it is to protect those weaker than him. It is the duty of those born strong to protect the weak, the promise becoming the drive that pushes him as a Hashira. Ruka hugs Rengoku and tells him she is blessed to have such a strong and gentle son. as both mother and son tear up in a tender embrace. Recalling her words, Rengoku musters the strength in his hand and drives his blade into Akaza's neck. As he himself tells her he is honored to have her as a mother, Rengoku summons more strength and drives his sword deeper. Akaza attempts to punch him with his free hand, but the demon slayer stops his fist mid-blow, shocking the demon. The sun begins to rise. To Akaza's horror, he attempts to pull himself free, but Rengoku holds him in place and refuses to let him escape. Despite his warning, Tanjiro disregards his wounds and runs to grab his sword and help him kill Akaza. Within sunlight about to emerge, Akaza fights harder to escape, but Rengoku maintains his hold, locking the two in place. Tanjiro urges Inosuke to move for Rengoku's sake. Not as injured as Tanjiro, Inosuke runs towards Akaza and leaps into the air, using beast-breathing first fang pierce in an attempt to attack the upper rank. Suddenly, Akaza rips his arms off from Rengoku's body and stomps hard onto the ground, creating shockwaves that knock Inosuke away and stall Tanjiro's attempt to attack. Seeing the sun, he blocks his face and runs into the forest to safety. In sheer desperation, Tanjiro chases him and empowers himself with the breathing of the Hinokami Kagura, hurling his blade at the upper moon and piercing his chest. Tanjiro angrily calls out to Akaza, telling him to not run and calling him a coward for retreating, making Akaza furious at his words. He mutters he was fleeing from the sun, not him, and declares the battle over since Rengoku will die shortly anyway, as he successfully escaped the sunlight. Tanjiro proclaims the demon slayers have always fought demons when the demons hold the advantage at night, and they fight despite their wounds not healing quickly and being unable to regenerate limbs. He yells out Rengoku is the true victor of their clash for being stronger, not letting anyone die, and for fighting till the end. As he begins to cry uncontrollably, Inosuke becomes shaken seeing Tanjiro lose his composure, but Rengoku smiles gently at his young demon slayer's words. He urges him to stop yelling and risk reopening his wound. Rengoku invites Tanjiro for a final conversation before his death. He explains that during his dream, his father often read notes made by the previous flame Hashira, and that the notes may contain information about Hinokami Kagura that he didn't know, instructing him to visit the Rengoku residence of the Demon Slayer Corps. With the sun fully risen, Akaza's torn arm burns to ash and Rengoku's wound bleeds quicker. Despite Tanjiro urging him to stop the bleeding, Rengoku calmly tells him he will be dead soon and instead decides to talk in his final moments. Rengoku instructs Tanjiro to tell his younger brother Senjuro to follow his heart and to walk down the path he feels is right, and to tell his father to take care of himself. He adds that he accepts Nezuko as a rightful member of the Demon Slayer Corps, as she fought to save the passengers while bleeding. Rengoku encourages Tanjiro that despite his own feelings of weakness and uselessness, to set your heart ablaze. Time will always move forward and he shouldn't despair in his death, as he was happy to protect them as a Hashira. Addressing Tanjiro, Inosuke and Zenitsu, he tells the trio he believes in them and to become the next Hashira of the Demon Slayer Corps. Suddenly, a vision of Ruka appears before Rengoku. He asks his mother if he had fulfilled his duties. Ruka tells her son he has made her proud. Hearing this, Rengoku smiles brightly and finally succumbs to his wounds. Zenitsu approaches Tanjiro and Inosuke, telling them that Rengoku had saved the train from becoming more damaged when it derailed. Shaken by what he sees, he asks if an upper moon really had appeared, to which Tanjiro confirms had happened. Tanjiro begins to cry and sadly states that despite mastering one thing, another wall appears before him. As the three begin to tear up, Tanjiro asks himself if he could ever become like Rengoku. Hearing his doubts, Inosuke angrily confronts him and tells his friend Rengoku himself believed in them, telling him to stop whining. He tells them that crying for the dead won't bring them back and they should move forward, as he himself begins to cry. As Zenitsu tells him so, Inosuke headbutts him but doesn't stop the tears. As the three mourn Rengoku's death, Rengoku's Kasugai Crow tells the Demon Slayer crops the news of his death and Akaza's appearance. The news spread to the Hashira, who are informed by their Kasugai Crows. Shinobu and Kaneo react with sadness. Mitsuri is shocked at his death. Michiro doesn't respond and Tinghin is in disbelief that even Rengoku couldn't defeat an upper rank. Abanai refuses to believe it. Gyomii prays for his soul while Ginya is stunned. Sanemi reaffirms his hatred of demons and promises to annihilate them all, and is surprised Gyu quietly believes it. Kagaya Obuyashiki is informed that not one of the 200 passengers was killed. Relieved, he calls Rengoku a remarkable child and states he is not saddened by his demise, as he himself will shortly join him in the land of the dead. And this brings the anime to an end. Comment for part 4. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on another video. Until next time, take care.